Well, you all said you like it when I start the days outside, and you also said you like when I dress up and look like a money manager. So I figured, you know what, even though the jungle is not the best place for the suit, I'd put it on for you guys today. And with that in mind, let's dive into the S&P 500, the stock market, and Bitcoin's current prices. Okay, so we are going to be chatting about the S&P 500, this particular chart here. As you can see, we've actually started to ramp up and have touched new highs for 2020. This is actually one of those precarious moments where we want to rewind to everything that we had been talking about in the past. Bitcoin's price and the markers for things like gold. Now, I've been invested in the gold and silver space for many years. I grew up as a libertarian by my own nature, and I was always confused at the government's ability to simply print money with no real backing whatsoever. This led me in early 2006 and 7 to, even at a very young age, be interested in gold and silver, and then also lead my way into Bitcoin. What I wanted to look at today was what I believe the importance of all of these in unison actually come to show us. The stock market going higher brings us again back to our original sentiments, which we thought was that if they continue to push interest rates lower down into the ground while continuing to print money, maybe even open up quantitative easing yet again, we're going to see the stock market continue to rise because the underlying assets of the stock market still have value, whether they're businesses and the assets that those businesses own, the employees and all of the beneficiary contracts that these companies have with one another are what brings them value. So as the dollar starts to collapse, we had speculated that this particular market here, what we're looking at, the S&P 500, would continue to go up. Even though we had been looking for a stock market crash again since the breakdown of 2008, what we've now started to see was that our original presumptions were correct, was that they're going to destroy the US dollar all the way as humanly possible, which is significantly further than we had originally anticipated. Now, because of all this market momentum that's been taking place, it's actually positive for Bitcoin as well. If we roll over to the Bitcoin charts, there was some time where everyone thought that there was a corollary nature between the two. Bitcoin has actually been going down since its high of $13,000 against the stock market rising. Again, what's really interesting about Bitcoin is that it is viewed by most as a speculative asset, except for the smart money who realize that Bitcoin is actually a hedge against all of this money printing and ridiculously low interest rates, which we have never ever seen before. 5,000 years of recorded history of interest rates through the Greek and Roman times, and never have we seen them this low. That's great for the underlying assets in the S&P 500 because that means they can start more businesses that might have failed and continue to grow without ever having to pay interest rates on the money that they took out as a loan. It's basically an entrepreneur's dream place. So with this in mind, I think what's really important is that we understand that as these markets grow and fluctuate, it's really time to start paying attention to all of the indicators, all of the investment strategies. I own gold and silver for many years. I actually have some coins here that I keep right in my desk for good luck. These are all like, what are these? The Liberty Silver 1 troy ounce dollars, bang, and then you get that nice sweet sound when you pull it off. Silver and gold have been money on this planet for thousands of years. We have history for that as well. One of the reasons why is because there's natural scarcity involved in this particular metal, the production, the mining, and the safe having. And now if I was good at a magic trick, I could do something like this. Anyways, the point of this is, in this particular game, the reason why paying attention to the US dollar, the stock market, gold, silver, and Bitcoin is so important is because the markets move as an entirety, not just as a solo speculative bet on Bitcoin. So what's really interesting to me is now that we've seen the S&P 500 go up and Bitcoin drop now again below that $10,000 marker, it's likely that we're going to see $8.6 thousand for Bitcoin and then 7.7. I made a great video yesterday where I talk about the speculations of what I think is possible if we break that 7.7K mark, but regardless, I think we're going to continue to see a rise in the stock market because of the printing of dollars and the lowered interest rates. This is actually positive for Bitcoin because it means that less people are going to be scared and there's going to be more free market money free money sloshing around in the markets. This is not a free market, by the way. Let's just be clear about that. So if all of these things are taking place, this is another lead into why I believe Bitcoin could rip to $50,000 and then come crashing back down. Is Bitcoin is designed to be a hedge against the crash of the US dollar, not the crash of the stock markets. And currently what we're seeing in the rise of the S&P 500 is the early indicator that they are printing money and that these lowered interest rates are actually doing something to the markets. Again, there is no reason for the S&P 500 to continue to climb on the longest bull market that it has ever seen in history, other than the fact that we are in an inflated, unsustainable market. Now again, this is not the greatest thing, but in the long term, we are hoping that we find a much better and smoother recovery than that of what we had in 2008, where we just bailed out the banks. So for all the newbie and would-be investors, none of this is financial advice. Please do your own due diligence, your own research, whatever it is, your own risk assessments and portfolios are going to drastically vary between person A and person B. And because of that, we recommend everyone do their own consultations with wherever it is they might be sitting, whether it's their own money managers or just understanding that if you only have $800 a month to spend and $600 of that goes to rent and $200 should be going to food, well, maybe $10 a month in Bitcoin is the way you should be going. Now, the important part here is that I actually think, and I agree with Anthony Pompliano on this one again, is that I would rather be in cash than the stock market. Even though I think this is going to continue to go up, it's still, you're buying an underlying asset which is related to in dollar terms. Again, this is one of the reasons why I think the blockchain and cryptocurrency market as a whole is so fascinating, is because for the first time ever, we have 7 days a week and 24 hours a day trading. We have never ever seen that before. Anyways, if you like this content, give us those thumbs up. If you're new to the Bear family, please do subscribe, hit that little bell so that way we're notified every time we go live. If you don't like the content, give us a thumbs down, because hey, YouTube loves the energy either where, anywhere it comes from, doesn't matter. Just like that. Again, thank you guys all for joining us today. I'm really happy. Stoked to see so many new private Bear Den members sign up. We're building out the education and the resources center just to help in as many ways as possible. Investing and financial decisions are new to most people, yet at this day and age, I think it's becoming more and more apparent that every person should have investments and diversity in the ways that they're playing the game, even if you have a regular 9-to-5 job. It's getting that money, the idea that this is not just for money managers, but this is for everybody, and that includes you. Steve with the Arcane Bear, we're signing off for the rest of the day. Thank you guys for joining us and being so supportive of our outside times. We'll leave it at that.